Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and a cracking day of matches here at the CDL to finish off week 2 of Stage 4. The Florida Mutiny's home series is now officially in the books. Great matches, many storylines coming out of these. Let's dive right in. And treat take your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. The first series of the day was the Florida Mutiny's, the hosting team, up against of course the Los Angeles Grillers. Didn't go the way of the LAG. Game 1 goes to the Mutiny's. Kind of want to breeze through this series because there's plenty more to discuss on the day, but yeah, Mutiny's get the job done in the end as expected, and really LAG find themselves in a similar spot to the other bottom 4 teams where pretty much their chances now of making it to the World Championship are very slim at the very best you could possibly say, because at the end of the day, Mutiny's were that team that was in that kind of 8th spot that every team was gunning for. The fact that none of these teams can quite get over the line and actually match them right now, and well, they're certainly stretching their advantage, and theoretically, these bottom 4 teams can still make it, but they would have to pretty much win a major at this point, or something pretty incredible to get the job done. Game 2 also goes the way of the guys on the Florida Mutiny's. Awakening goes massive here, something like 13-6. This guy with the Kring in hand is just ridiculous, right? Some of the gunfights this guy wins, honestly, I don't see him missing bullets too often. Very, very impressive player when he's on form. Certainly a championship caliber player. Won a couple last year on the Mutiny's roster, of course, that they had early on. They won some online tournaments towards the end of the season. This year, nothing happening quite as of yet, but maybe Mutiny's looking like potential championship contenders when it does indeed come down to the World Championship in a couple of months' time here in August. This then from the LAG as well, MJ Chino's control point, because they actually did win a control. Very rare of them to actually win a garrison control, but they got a job done here, so fair play to them. I'm pretty sure they won this 3-0 or something relatively comfortable. But then they go to a raid hard point where Mutiny's are, I'm pretty sure they're undefeated, as Mutiny's say right here, so far this season, and well, a round 4 knockout. Mutiny's get the job done, a 3-1 series victory for them. And yeah, Demon Joe Big Wake back in the building right here, says Crone, 1.32 overall KD, remarkable stuff once again. This guy absolutely out of control, and Mutiny's get the job done. So fair play to those guys. As Awakenings, there's still some issues for whatever reason going on with the game at the present time, stuck in the car behind on the P1 to B2 rotation. Not sure what's going on there. Maybe something that Trey can be aware of and fix in the very near future. Let's talk about this next series then, Atlanta FaZe versus the Los Angeles Thieves. First of all, this of course that comes out from Bance. Me warming up FaZe on my day off, not having a good time most early. CleanX as well, Simp 3-piecing me for the 5th time. So these guys were certainly implying that FaZe looking very good today when they were warming them up for their match up against the Los Angeles Thieves, and we saw that in full effect, to be honest, right here when they did play them. I mean, this was just a bloodbath. This is what Atlanta FaZe do to seemingly any team in the game. On the other side of things, Thieves clearly not in a good spot. The other day, their defeat to Paris Legion was honestly, well, as I said at the time, pretty unacceptable, to be honest. I think that a lot of the guys over there are thinking that right now, and Jacob must be in a bit of a predicament, right, because he's made so many changes. I think some of the changes are pretty good ones. I think that some of the changes a lot of the coaches wouldn't have had the balls to make, so props to him for doing that, and I think that they obviously thought that this could have been a step in the right direction. Now, Thieves did look better when they initially had this 4-man squad. The problem is, up against FaZe, any good team could also look very bad, right? So that's the thing, really, when you're trying to see how good Thieves actually are here, is that, okay, when you play against FaZe and get bodies, pretty much any team in the game is capable of doing that, especially when FaZe are playing like they did right here. They finally win an Apocalypse. This has been a map that I'm pretty sure both of these teams are good on in practice, but haven't really been able to convert in the actual games here. FaZe get the job done this time around in this first game, 250 to 186, which is a relatively comfortable win for Apocalypse with how it can chain together. This I thought was pretty crazy as well, right from Arcitys, because first stage 1 and 2, you can see he has an overall .99, not exactly spectacular stats, but from stage 1 and 2 to stage 3 and 4, he's gone absolutely out of control. He has a 1.16, number 1 overall KD since the start of stage 3. That is outrageous, and if Arcitys is putting up the number 1 KD in the world, and you've got Simp, aBeZy and Cellium on your team, I mean, who is touching you, right? That is honestly a massive question right now. Who can even get close to FaZe at the present time? They are out here playing public matches, let's be honest. They go into this search and destroy, and here it is again. 6-0, just completely demolished them. I'm pretty sure Arcitys doesn't even die. He goes like 4-0. He's sitting back and relaxing. Cellium's going 8-1 on a 6-string, on a 5-string right here. And well, gets the job done against Drazah as well at the end to finish off the job. I mean, this is just ridiculous stuff from the FaZe guys. They cannot be touched. When their confidence is like this, I just don't understand what you're meant to do against this team. They're running around, they're laughing at you, they're just having a good time, they're just going around popping pieces, they don't even care what they're doing, they're just defusing the bomb. Literally, it feels like they've looked into league play, and they're just hopping on for a fun game with the boys in the evening, having a good time, having a laugh, having a giggle, and just world starring whatever, what is in theory, one of the best professional teams in the entire game, which of course it is, right? The league is incredibly competitive, but the skill gap at the top end, I mean, people always talk about the fact that the skill gap isn't actually too much in Call of Duty, but I don't know, I'd ask you to look at FaZe, and maybe I would disagree with that statement, right, that the levels that these guys are putting up at their present time, and And then, well, as you can see right here, a 24 in 9 KD, like some sort of ridiculous overall KD. Like, what is this, like a 2.7 or something KD for FaZe in this map? That is just absolutely out of control. And well, then we go into control, and this one, speaking of control, this is where Simp absolutely takes over control of this control. We're going off on the main stage right here. I mean, look at these shots, right? I don't understand what this guy is doing. I mean, this 3-piece is just ridiculous. Then he hits their spawn. He's on a 9 streak already at this point. Then he goes on another crazy streak as well. I mean, I just don't understand, man. Simp, if anything, to me, has been somewhat underrated recently. There's been so much talk about aBeZy for good reason, so much talk about Arcitys for good reason. Cellium, you could also argue, is pretty underrated, but Simp has been flying under the radar, maybe, just how good this guy is. His movement, his awareness, his gun skill, it's just all there. The complete package of a Call of Duty player, also a world champion, also a great teammate, also on the best team in the game. So it doesn't get too much better than this. And when Simp does turn up, it's just incredibly exciting to watch. I mean, this guy, the shots he hits are just out of control. The way he plays the game is almost perfect at times. He finds himself in tough spots, bails himself out with just some ridiculous play again and again and again. And that is, well, as Grode says right here, Simp lost a gunfight. Remarkable scenes. Very rare for that to happen, but eventually it does happen. He loses the streak, but still he goes like 39 in 19 or something. And this chart says, I'd be livid if I was just getting world star by FaZe and had to look across the stage to see them giggling. Land cannot certainly come soon enough. And well, Simp goes 39 in 19 in the control, dominates Los Angeles Thieves. They get they get pretty much humiliated, right? A loss like this is pretty embarrassing. At the same time, this is what FaZe do to every single team, so maybe it's not even a humiliation at this point when you know that Atlanta FaZe are going to just do this to pretty much anyone. This gunfight also a little bit of drama about it. Maybe we can dive into that tomorrow. But that's the 11th sweep of the season for the Atlanta FaZe. Ridiculous stuff. I mean, look at these stats right here. Simp plus 17, Arcitys plus 10. Let's just move on, really, because this was just an absolute bloodbath. Simp just dominating the series as we come to expect at this point. As Jacob says, awful showing. Nothing else to say at the present time. Let's talk then about this final series of the day, because this was an absolute banger. Went down to the wire. I was kind of hoping it would be so. These two teams, when they do match up, it's always a good time, certainly. Honestly, so far this season, Dallas have had a pretty good record up against the subliners, and it looked like this one might go a similar way. Lots really to talk about here. So this game number 1, a Garrison hardpoint that New York have been so strong at so far this season, but honestly, it was so far down to the wire. I mean, Hydra went ridiculous this map, all things considered, as so did, of course, Mac, as we will have to discuss. Mac goes game 1, 40 in 24 with the Krig in hand. Mac with the Krig has just been a revelation for this team, to be honest. He has been playing it so well as of late, but Dallas do certainly mix it up. This was finally the first series we saw Dallas that looked at least somewhat competitive, but still, at times, the slaying wasn't necessarily there. But still, they get outslayed dramatically in both of these hardpoints and still make it very close indeed. Subliners, of course, not an easy team to beat in those situations. Mac goes 40 and 27, actually, sorry, it was the map 4. He went 40 and 24, I believe. Something crazy like that, but a Hydra right up there with them, both plus 13 in this game number 1. Game 2, though, went the other way. This is very funny indeed, the fact that Clayster is shooting bodies right here over on Vivid. I mean, he certainly puts a lot of shots into Vivid's body. As quote says, Mobile Esports, COD Mobile Esports is in shambles at the present time. Clayster clutches a nice 1v2, gets the kill, and well, shoots a lot of bodies in here on Vivid, as you can see on screen. However, it does not go their way to finish off the map. Vivid actually comes back very strong here. He drops 10 kills in this search and destroyed 10 and 6, as you can see the Dallas Empire tweet out right here. So, as Dallas is saying, look, here comes the juju, right? You start to shoot bodies, that's when things go downhill for you. And it seems to be continuing along those lines. In the control, actually, it was Vivid once again going 32 in 19. All the defensive rounds were won on the Garrison control. Again, we see these teams not quite getting over the line. I think that in certain situations, better control teams than Dallas and New York, it's very questionable at that game mode, close out some of those offensive rounds. I think you tend to see more in the rounds between, the lower tier teams that defenses tend to win more often, at least in those modes. Not like Dallas and New York are lower tier teams, but in the control mode specifically, they're not exactly ideal. So it really seemed like the Juju monster was coming real here for Clayster. Shoots Vivid's body, gets dunked on in the search, and then naturally dominates the control, does Vivid, of course. However, the final game was, very interesting indeed, the final respawn. That was a checkmate hardpoint, and Matt goes 40 and 24. This guy's out of control, drops 110 kills in the series, but still one map left to go. 80 kills across 2 hardpoints. That is certainly a record so far this season. Ridiculous statistics from Mac. He was completely piecing. Honestly, it was a great map 4 as well. Sent us all the way to a game 5, and a game 5 I was certainly hoping to have. And Dallas honestly looked much better, right? Vivid had a great series. ILLey had some really standout moments in this game 5, but the problem is they still could not quite get over the line. These are some crazy stats as well. The fact that Empire actually got very close statistically to getting over the line here, despite 250 to 219, 250 to 210, despite being outslayed massively. 50 kills outslayed by across both hardpoints, but still just about got close. Definitely a testament to the teamwork that Dallas Empire still have, and that's kind of what they've rode off these last couple of seasons. But still, if you can't win the map, that is obviously a difficult spot. ILLey had a crazy 3-piece here early on. Like, it really looked like he was just going to be taken over this game. Early on, ILLey goes massive, aggressive, gets a couple of fantastic kills, and Dallas Empire move up 3-0 in this final game. Then ILLey's got a 1v3. He needs like a kill or two to get streaks. They hunt him down, they take him down. That's a 1-3 now, well, advantage still for the Dallas Empire at the time. And then some great plays came in from the guys. This from Asim was absolutely spectacular. I mean, this 1 versus 2, he takes down Shotzzy, hit some great shots here onto Vivid as well. Very much some confidence from Asim to actually chow that right to the end there. You could easily back away and try and take the gunfight from a different angle, but Asim goes for it, gets the job done as well, and Asim really brings this game back in the potential of, well, the New York Subliners to actually take it down. However, Dallas go up 4-2 in this one, but then New York Subliners strike, winning 4 rounds on the bounce to take down the series. Crimsix was certainly not happy about the whole situation. A head tip was thrown down. Maybe we'll have to chuck that on the thumbnail for tomorrow. But yeah, GG's New York Subliners, says Crimsix. And just to finish off the video with the statistic from these series, take a bow, Mac Melts. 116 kills, 91 deaths. Vivid actually has a banging series as well. Like, look at the engagements that Vivid and Shotzzy are coming with, but still, Crimsix and ILLey statistically, despite some great moments at times, at least in terms of actual damage, you can see that Crimsix, despite having one of the lowest KDs on his team, and ILLey as well right up there, actually has the highest damage on his entire team. So there's definitely some different ways to look at this, but once again, Dallas Empire in a great position to close out a game, just can't quite get the job done. And try to take your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Really interesting game today. Thank you for watching as always. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube because I know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.